Welcome. We are on day 138 of the chronological Bible in a year. Take a breath and take a moment to celebrate that you have set this time aside to hear God's word. Let's begin in Psalm 75. God humbles the proud but exalts the righteous. For the music director, set to Al-Tesheth, a psalm of Asaph, a song. We give thanks to you, God, we give thanks, for your name is near. People declare your wondrous works. When I select an appointed time, it is I who judge fairly. The earth and all who inhabit it are unsteady. It is I who have firmly set its pillars. Selah. I said to the boastful, do not boast, and to the wicked, do not lift up the horn. Do not lift up your horn on high. Do not speak with insolent pride. Not from the east, nor from the west, nor from the desert comes exaltation. But God is the judge. He puts down one and exalts another. For a cup is in the hand of the Lord, and the wine foams. It is well mixed, and he pours out of this. Certainly all the wicked of the earth must drain and drink its dregs. But as for me, I will declare it forever. I will sing praises to the God of Jacob, and he will cut off all the horns of the wicked, but the horns of the righteous shall be lifted up. Psalm 76, the victorious power of the God of Jacob. For the music director, on stringed instruments, a psalm of Asaph, a song. God is known in Judah, his name is great in Israel. His tabernacle is in Salem, his dwelling place also is in Zion. There he broke the flaming arrows, the shield, the sword, and the weapons of war. Selah. You are resplendent, more majestic than the mountains of prey. The stout-hearted were plundered. They sank into sleep, and none of the warriors could use his hands. At your rebuke, God of Jacob, both rider and horse were cast into a deep sleep. You indeed are to be feared, and who may stand in your presence once you were angry? You caused judgment to be heard from heaven. The earth feared and was still when God arose to judgment to save all the humble of the earth. Selah. For the wrath of mankind shall praise you. You will encircle yourself with a remnant of wrath. Make vows to the Lord your God and fulfill them. All who are around him are to bring gifts to him who is to be feared. He will cut off the spirit of the princes. He is feared by the kings of the earth. Psalm 77. Comfort in trouble from recalling God's mighty deeds. For the music director, according to Jeduthun, a psalm of Asaph. My voice rises to God, and I will cry aloud. My voice rises to God, and he will listen to me. In the day of my trouble I sought the Lord. In the night my hand was stretched out and did not grow weary. My soul refused to be comforted. When I remember God, then I am restless. When I sigh, then my spirit feels weak. Selah. You have held my eyelids open. I am so troubled that I cannot speak. I have considered the days of old, the years of long ago. I will remember my song in the night. I will meditate with my heart, and my spirit ponders. Will the Lord reject forever? And will he never be favorable again? Has his favor ceased forever, and his promise come to an end forever? Has God forgotten to be gracious, or has he in anger withdrawn his compassion? Selah. Then I said, it is my grief that my right hand of the Most High has changed. I shall remember the deeds of the Lord. I will certainly remember your wonders of old. I will meditate on all your work and on your deeds with thanksgiving. Your way, God, is holy. What God is great like our God? You are the God who works wonders. You have made known your strength among the peoples. By your power you have redeemed your people, the sons of Jacob and Joseph. Selah. The waters saw you, God. The waters saw you. They were in anguish. The ocean depths also trembled. The clouds poured out water. The skies sounded out. Your arrows flashed here and there. The sound of your thunder was in the whirlwind. The lightning lit up the world. The earth trembled and shook. Your way was in the sea, and your paths in the mighty waters, and your footprints were not known. You led your people like a flock by the hand of Moses and Aaron. Psalm 78, God's guidance of his people in spite of their unfaithfulness. A Maskil of Asaph. Listen, my people, to my instruction. Incline your ears to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will tell riddles of old, which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us. We will not conceal them from their children, but we will tell the generation to come the praises of the Lord, and his power and his wondrous works that he has done. For he established a testimony in Jacob, and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers, that they were to teach them to their children, so that the generation to come would know, the children yet to be born, that they would arise and tell them to their children, so that they would put their confidence in God, and not forget the works of God, but comply with his commandments, and not be like their fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation that did not prepare its heart, and whose spirit was not faithful to God. The sons of Ephraim were archers equipped with bows, yet they turned back on the day of battle. They did not keep the covenant of God and refused to walk in his law. They forgot his deeds and his miracles that he had shown them. He performed wonders before their fathers in the land of Egypt, in the field of Zoan. He divided the sea and caused them to pass through, and he made the water stand up like a heap. Then he led them with the cloud by day, and all the night with a light of fire. He split the rocks in the wilderness and gave them plenty to drink like the ocean depth. He brought forth streams from the rock and made waters run down like rivers. Yet they still continued to sin against him, to rebel against the Most High in the desert. And in their heart they put God to the test by asking for food that suited their taste. Then they spoke against God. They said, "Can God prepare a table in the wilderness?" Behold, he struck the rock so that waters gushed out and streams were overflowing. Can he also provide bread? Will he prepare meat for his people? Therefore the Lord heard and was full of wrath, and a fire was kindled against Jacob, and anger also mounted against Israel, because they did not believe in God and did not trust in his salvation. Yet he commanded the clouds above and opened the doors of heaven, and rained down manna upon them to eat, and gave them food from heaven. Man ate the bread of angels. He sent them food in abundance. He made the east wind blow in the sky, and by his power he directed the south wind. When he rained meat upon them like the dust, even winged fowl like the sand of the seas, he let them fall in the midst of their camp, all around their dwellings. So they ate and were well filled, and he satisfied their longing. Yet before they had abandoned their longing, while their food was in their mouths, the anger of God rose against them, and killed some of their strongest ones, and subdued the choice men of Israel. In spite of all this, they still sinned, and did not believe in his wondrous works. So he brought their days to an end in futility, and their years to an end in sudden terror. When he killed them, then they sought him, and they returned and searched diligently for God. And they remembered that God was their rock, and the Most High God their Redeemer. But they flattered him with their mouth, and lied to him with their tongue, for their heart was not steadfast toward him, nor were they faithful with his covenant. But he, being compassionate, forgave their wrongdoing and did not destroy them. And often he restrained from anger and did not stir up all his wrath. So he remembered that they were only flesh, a wind that passes and does not return. How often they rebelled against him in the wilderness and grieved him in the desert. Again and again they tempted God and pained the Holy One of Israel. They did not remember his power, the day when he redeemed them from the enemy, when he performed his signs in Egypt and his marvels in the field of Zoan, and turned their rivers to blood and their streams so that they could not drink. He sent swarms of flies among them that devoured them, and frogs that destroyed them. He also gave their crops to the grasshopper, and the product of their labor to the locust. He destroyed their vines with hailstones, and their sycamore trees with frost. He also turned their cattle over to the hailstones, and their herds to bolts of lightning. He sent burning anger upon them, fury and indignation and trouble, a band of destroying angels. He leveled a path for his anger. He did not spare their souls from death, but turned their lives over to the plague, and struck all the firstborn in Egypt, the first and the best of their vigor in the tents of Ham. But he led his own people out like sheep, and guided them in the wilderness like a flock. He led them safely, so that they did not fear, but the sea engulfed their enemies. So he brought them to his holy land, to this hill country, which his right hand had gained. He also drove out the nations from them, and apportioned them as an inheritance by measurement, and had tribes of Israel dwell in their tents. Yet they tempted and rebelled against the Most High God, and did not keep his testimonies. But they turned back and acted treacherously like their fathers. They turned aside like a treacherous bow, for they provoked him with their high places, and moved him to jealousy with their carved images. When God heard them, he was filled with wrath, and he utterly rejected Israel, so that he abandoned the dwelling place at Shiloh, the tent which he had pitched among people. And he gave up his strength to captivity, and his glory into the hand of the enemy. He also turned his people over to the sword, and was filled with wrath at his inheritance. Fire devoured his young men, and his virgins had no wedding songs. Priests fell by the sword, and his widows could not weep. Then the Lord awoke as if from sleep. Like a warrior overcome by wine, he drove his adversaries backward. He put on them an everlasting disgrace. He also rejected the tent of Joseph, and did not choose the tribe of Ephraim. But he chose the tribe of Judah, Mount Zion, which he loved, and he built his sanctuary like the heights, like the earth, which he has established forever. He also chose his servant David, and took him from the sheepfolds. From the care of the ewes with nursing lambs he brought him, to shepherd Jacob his people, and Israel his inheritance. So he shepherded them according to the integrity of his heart, and guided them with his skillful hands. Thank you for listening. I pray that the seed of God's word will be planted in your heart and will continue to grow.